you're learning English for many years, you're not in school anymore, and you need to figure out how to improve your English on your own. I've been learning Spanish and Mandarin for several years now by myself, and I have some points here about how to work smarter and not harder based on my experience. It's been many years of crying and frustration, going in circles, wasting time, wasting money, and I'm here to give you the way out of this frustration. You'll see I have this whiteboard here, and we are going to summarize this whole topic with a single word. And that word is going to be unknown until you finish the video. And the word will not make sense unless you watch the video, right? We will find out what this mystery word is. We'll talk about this, but this word will really let you realize, oh, that's how I can stop struggling. Let me share my crazy journey with you. The first mistake that I made in both languages, now I will say that I mainly made this mistake in Mandarin, is flashcards. Flashcards, what's wrong with flashcards? I thought they were fun. I thought they were great because that's what we learned in school. It seems like that's the way to study and memorize vocabulary. When I started learning Mandarin in 2021, I wanted to learn as fast as possible because I wanted to impress people. In my mind, the fastest way to do that was with memorization. Just learn the word, word. Learn a bunch of words. I wrote all of the words on some flashcards. I wrote the English on one side and I wrote the Mandarin on the other side. I was going at it. I was flipping through the cards. I was memorizing them. Everything was good. I did that for several weeks, taking those words from Instagram Reels, videos, just what I wanted to know using Google Translate. How did I think it was a problem, right? What happened was I had a phone call with my friend's mom, but it wasn't random. He gave me a heads up because it was his idea that, maybe if you want to improve really fast, you should speak with a native speaker. And my mom doesn't speak English, so it could be a good idea. And I freak out because I still don't think I'm prepared. But as long as I use my flashcards, I'm good, right? Right. Oh my god. The problem was, she was asking me questions about the United States. How is it in the United States? Is the gun problem good or bad? Is it really as bad as they say it is on the news? And and of course, at the beginning, she was even asking me questions like, how old are you? Where are you from? What is your job? Simple questions. That at that point, after learning for several months every single day, you would think I should know those things. I should know how to answer that. But here's the problem. I knew words, random words, but I couldn't piece them together. I couldn't express it in a sentence. Sentence making was really poor. And that's what happens with flashcards is when we use and rely on flashcards, they make us think robotically, like a computer. A equals B, Z equals J, right? It's just very robotic, just like a programming system. And that's not what language is, because language is more about the acquisition. Acquisition is a fancy word. And this means that you just pick it up in chunks. It's a natural process by listening to it more. Okay, but number one inefficient method was flashcards. Now here comes number two, which was Duolingo. Let's get our second letter here. Okay, this makes up a word, by the way. So Duolingo. I talked about it a lot on my blog, but when I relied on Duolingo for Spanish and Mandarin, all that was happening is I was learning formal textbook style ways of expressing ideas. It was a problem because when I was using that in conversation, I didn't feel any connection. There was a wall between us, and it didn't feel like we could really make that relationship stronger. And for me, that's the goal of a language, is so that we can connect better. There's no reason for me to learn a language if we can't have a stronger connection. That's why I did not like Duolingo. That's why I struggled when I used Duolingo too much. I couldn't sound natural and I couldn't express myself in a way that was more authentic. For example, I was saying emparedado for sandwich, which people in Mexico do not say. And in Mandarin, I was saying 你的电话号码是多少? Which people don't say that nowadays. And I don't even think I will ask for anyone's phone number, to be honest. Here comes the next one. Let's add another letter to our word. Let's see if you can guess it before we finish it. This next struggle and mistake that I made when learning a language by myself was with Mandarin, and this was using ChatGPT. The reason is because I still cannot afford classes with my Mandarin teacher. My Mandarin teacher is spectacular. She uses all of the same methods that I use with my students. I really wish I could take her classes every day, but the reality is that I had to find another way that worked around my schedule, and for me that was ChatGPT. And what I noticed was that I would try to simulate a conversation with ChatGPT, and I would check the authenticity with a friend of mine, and he would say, that's not really natural, the words, the way, it's not really how we actually talk. That, or I would practice with ChatGPT, but I would practice the wrong pronunciation. For example, I would say, for language in Mandarin, I would say 语言 instead of 语言. And I think I still pronounce it wrong because I was training the incorrect way. And I didn't notice that because ChatGPT will not give me that kind of direct feedback. Another thing is, with ChatGPT, I would try to express an idea, and I would know that the grammar was wrong. ChatGPT wouldn't let me know the more natural way to say it, or explain the grammar in a way that I could get in an easy way. But with my teacher, I could. She would say, oh, you're saying that you wish you could have gotten to the restaurant, but you couldn't because it was whatever idea it was. She would express that to me in a way I could understand. Wasn't too complicated with the grammar and vocabulary because she knew my level, and in a way that I could grasp, in a way that worked with the sentence structures I already knew. ChatGPT, it's really hard to get that kind of feedback with ChatGPT. You have to do a lot of input to explain what your level is, and it still will have flaws because it forgets. I've tried it many times, many hours to explain, this is my level, this was what I can do, this is the sentence structures that I know, these are the sentence structures I know. But it could not do it. I walked in circles so many times with the vocabulary charts that I had ChatGPT generate. I struggled with the conversations. It just didn't flow right. It didn't feel natural. Here's another thing. With a language, you pick it up so much faster when interacting because of the visual. What do I mean? This is with the facial expression. How does a phrase feel in that culture? Sometimes a sentence translated can be different feelings, right? So in English, it might be like a casual, relaxed phrase you use with friends, but maybe in Mandarin, it's impolite, right? And we can't pick that up with ChatGPT. We can only get that in context with the people we're talking to. How they look, do they look angry? Do they look uncomfortable? Do they look super excited when they say that phrase? Right? These are things that language learners, typically do not think about. And let's just pause a second and give our next letter. Let's see if you can guess what it is. Last last mistake that I made as I've been learning languages is I ask way too many grammar questions. And this was with Mandarin. Oh, 礼拜跟星期有什么不一样? That's not too bad because they're the same thing. But what was it? Oh, when it came to comparing in Mandarin, I still get so confused. 我比你更好 or 我比你好我比较好 I still struggle with that. It's something that I really have to dig into and clarify here more. But comparing things and asking about, oh, what's the difference between this sentence structure and this sentence structure? How does that work? And getting too technical with it, like time, place, verb, noun, subject, object, is too much. When I continued to say, oh, person, time, place, blah, 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 when I was thinking like a computer, I couldn't let that sentence flow. Do you relate? Do you relate? Because I see it all the time. I see it all the time with my students. And so the best thing that helped me was thinking about how I learned English. And that was 4 years of pure listening, no grammar. From age 1, 2, 3 to 4 to 5, really 5 years of pure listening. And at age 5 is when we just not even and only in first grade. First grade we start to actually learn about the grammar. Give yourself time to get lots and lots of listening exposure. And then you can introduce yourself to a reading exposure. So listening, then combine that listening with reading, then combine that later on with the grammar. If I could go back in time, that's how I would do it. And so that's why the main message for today, if you're struggling, you're going in circles, you're spending money, you're getting frustrated, and you cannot see the progress, today's message is to not adopt. Trick! It's to adapt. It's okay. You are making progress. You are learning. And every single setback that you experience is a step forward because you know what doesn't work for you. Just like I know that these things do not work for me, I had to figure that out. I had to experience it because if I didn't, I wouldn't find the smarter ways and I wouldn't know why these don't work. I'm so glad that I get to know my brain more. I hope you have gotten to know your brain more. And if you're still unsure, you still don't know what works for you, I'm super happy to help you in a trial lesson. You can go ahead and click that link below and sign up for a trial lesson. Super easy. speakonenglish.org. And I would be so happy to walk you through that. Because I would literally go into a time machine, pull myself out of that crying phase to stop that frustration. But I cannot. But I can help you, and I'm super happy to do that. Adapt, and life will be okay. Your language learning skills, your English ability is improving. I promise you that. And I'm here to cheer you on. Leave your comments below about what you think, what struggles you had, and I love hearing your stories. It's honestly the most special thing for me. Any tips, any struggles that you faced, any questions about what you can do to get out of the frustration, I'm super excited to know what that is. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Speak on.